Hey, ladies, and welcome to day one of our challenge. I'm going to give a couple of people time to jump on because I know there are a few ladies joining us live, and then we'll get started. So I am super excited. I'm just going to make sure that this is streaming in. There we are. Excellent. Okay. All right. Welcome to day one of the challenge. My name's Nick. I am the founder of Nicole Tourette Consulting and also Conflicted to Confident. And this is the first day of the Conflicted to Confident 3-day challenge. So over the next 3 days, we're going to be going through 3 steps to take you to a point where you're feeling more confident, got more direction and connection to what you're trying to achieve in your business, and you've got a game plan on how you're going to start to get to the growth that you really want to be seeing in your business. So it's going to be amazing. Today is day one, and I'll get into the content in just a minute. But I want to give you a couple of housekeeping things for the challenge first. First off, what we really want to be doing is starting together and finishing together for each day. So that's really important because it means that we can help each other as we go along. So you want to be looking at the content for day one and posting what your outcome is for the day one content into the post that's in the group, and then helping each other and commenting on each other's posts as well. And then we want to be moving on to day 2 of the challenge together, and that will be tomorrow. So that's how we're going to make the challenge happen over the next 3 days. Now you'll notice in the video stream there's a link there. That's for anybody who's catching this video live and hasn't signed up for the challenge yet and wants to get the workbook and the daily emails and prompts around what it is we're trying to achieve. You just need to jump into that link and pop your details in so that you can start to receive those. Share it with everyone. We don't want the challenge to be a secret. I would love for you to share it with your friends and business besties if you think that they would be interested in what we're talking about. So please feel free to share this into your feed or your community, whatever that looks like for you. That would mean a lot to me, and it makes it a lot more enjoyable when there are more of us working on the challenge together. So let's dive into the content for today. Today is day one, and make sure you say hi when you're watching so that I can say hello back, and let me know if you're grabbing this on a replay as well, because I will come back in and check if you've got questions as we go. So today, day one, is all about connecting to your why and turning that into motivation for your business. And so we hear a lot of talk these days around your why. Why are you in business? Why are you striving to achieve the goals that you're working on? Hey, Tanil. And it started to become a little bit of a catchphrase. I've heard people talk about it in terms of purpose. What's your reason? Irrespective of what you call it and whether you are feeling like it's a bit of a catchphrase, and I know that I definitely do, but it's really important. And the reason it's important is because when you actually figure out what your driving purpose is, motivation becomes easy. And that sounds really weird when I say that. Hey, Lisa, how you doing? But it's actually true. And I say that because I have found that to be so. And so a lot of us as mums, it's really easy for us to say, my why is my kids. And I'm going to tell you that it's probably not. It's very likely to be something to do with your family and your kids, but if it's just your kids that you're hanging your why off, particularly about your business, that just creates conflict. Because if your children and spending time with your children and having greater flexibility about being able to be with them is your why, which is a great why, it means that when you're taking time away from them to work on your business, you feel really conflicted. And so that's why it's important to really bed down into what it is that's actually driving you. And when you do figure that out, the reason I say motivation becomes easy because it's actually that core thing. It's connected to your values. It's something you're super passionate about and it drives you. And you can't wait. I literally cannot wait to get back to my desk to work on my business, which drives my husband crazy. But it's true, because my why is about the life that we want to create. And so you may have caught lives where I've talked about it before. You know, I've got this, I can touch and smell and feel my vision for where we're going to be within the next 4 to 5 years and what that looks like. And I'm so passionate about achieving that. And part of that is being able to be with my girls and choose how we're living and create a way where we're designing how we're living life and having more time to spend with them as well. But they're not the core of it. The core of it is that future vision, and that will look different for everybody. So that's why it's really important to connect, and that's why I used that word connect for this day one of the challenge. So the workbook takes you through a couple of steps, and I'm just going to delve out on those a little bit, and then I'll answer some questions. So the first one is start with your happy. Because it can actually be really hard to figure this out, because you're asking yourself really deep, hard questions, and we don't delve that deep, particularly as really busy mums and housewives and business women and career women, and insert extra role that you feel in life right here. We tend to sort of carry on the surface of life, just figuring out our way through all that busyness. So I've tried to give you a way to, in sort of 10 minutes or less, do a quick deep dive session for yourselves. So start with your happy. And what that means is, when are you feeling most contented? When are you, what parts about your life and the way that you live make you really happy, make you feel fulfilled? Is it parts of things that you do in your social life? What are the things there that make you feel really fulfilled? What is it within your family life or at home or at work? You know, we're complex. There's not a one thing that makes us happy. And particularly when you're a businesswoman and a mum, you're generally trying to satisfy something that you need that's extra, that's just for you, or that's about an impact you want to make, and I'll come to that in a minute. So you spend a little bit of time really nutting down, and there's a bunch of questions in the workbook to help you with that, just to kind of delve into that. The next thing you want to think about when you're trying to figure out what your why is, your values, and what's really important to you. So for me, when I figured out my why, because there are two parts to my why. One is the piece I've just talked about in terms of my family, and the second is the impact I want to create through my business. And I realized that last year, as I was, going through that whole return to work piece around having Bubby number 2, and my absolute passion is helping other mums find their confidence and to get through that overwhelm and to take back control and to get out of the crazy that sometimes happens in our heads. We're overwhelmed with guilt and we're trying to make all of these different things happen at once. And that was something I had to work through for myself, and it became a passion. And the piece about my values that connects to is family, because I believe that mum is the center of the family. And when mum's a bit out of whack or out of balance or not happy, then that impacts everybody, including the children. And so for me, my impact that I want to make is in helping those mums feel more fulfilled and feel that balance. And so you can see that starts to get into what's really important for you. That's certainly what's important for me. So that's why the second piece of the challenge today is about getting into your values. Think about the things that are super important for you. I got an angry face there. I'm hoping that was a mistake. And then there's lots of flowers and love hearts, so I'm going to go with it. The third piece is then you start to get into your not negotiables. And I was working with someone the other day, and she said, "What do you mean by not negotiables? What is that?" And it's those things that you either will not compromise on, or you're very unhappy when you need to compromise on them for some reason. And there's typically, I've asked you to look at 3 to 5 just to keep it manageable for you to be able to work that through for yourself. But there's going to be things that are your not negotiables. Now, they might be daily things and they might be life-based things. So for me now, being where I'm at in my confidence journey, not negotiables is about where I am being asked to compromise on a value or a promise that I've made to myself, and I simply will not do it. But it takes time to get to that point. So figure out what those are. I'm very rarely not home from work or wherever I might be to put my girls in bed. Even if I'm sliding in the door as they're reading stories, I'm still there to cuddle them and sing songs and spend time with them, and I make it I make it an absolute priority that coming in slightly late doesn't happen more than twice a week. So there's some not negotiables. And when you write those out, there will be some that really pull at you. And you can even say pull at your heartstrings. And I actually think it's okay for you to be connected to your why at a heart level, because that's what drives us. Everybody's different, but women in general, and also mums, we are very heart-centered and we're very heart-driven around what we do. So you want to pick that number one priority of your not negotiable. Now you're starting to get down to those things that are super, super important to you. And you're starting to delve deeper and deeper to get into what's actually driving you in terms of your why or the impact you want to create. Now you can do more work around impact. We're not focused on that today. We're just trying to keep it bite-sized for you. And so the last thing that I want you to do then is to reflect on those things that we've looked at. And I want you to write a statement. I'm going to read it. It's right here so that I don't mess it up. I want you to say, I'm Nick, and I'm working towards creating that future life that I have got mapped out for myself and my family, and making an impact for women in my business, because it will enable me to feel satisfied and fulfilled and create the freedom to be able to spend time with my children. So that's my example. So yours will say, I'm blank and I'm working towards blank something. I hate the word blank actually, because it will enable me to do something. And what we want to do is write that out and pop it into the post back in the Facebook feed so that we can follow along, and you might provide motivation for somebody else who's struggling a little bit trying to get through that, because they're not easy questions to answer. If you can grab 5 minutes or you don't have a small person hanging off you to answer them, that does help, I have found. So that's our content for today. I'm keeping the content bite size on each of the 3 days. Hey Sandra, how you doing? So that I want you to be able to get through the task for the challenge on each day, including watching the video, in no more than an hour. So that's my goal, so that we're not taking too much time away from your day to get you some results out of this challenge. So that's what we're going to do. Now, reminding you on the sign up link, it is in the top of the post. Please share it with your friends or business besties, people who you think would enjoy the challenge content. Or if you're just catching the live, make sure you sign up so you get the daily emails. Now, if there are any questions, I'm going to hang on for a couple of minutes, and while people type out their questions or their thoughts, you're going to listen to me dribble a little bit, so that'll be fine. I've mentioned the sign-up link and the Facebook post. So each day I'm going to be sharing this to the business page as well, so that you can grab that, but you want to be in the group if you want to get the daily posts, because that's where the daily posts will be. That is about it from me. Tomorrow I will be live again at 1 o'clock, so make sure that you join us for the content. And tomorrow we are talking about finding your business superpower. So stay tuned for the content around that, so that you can see what we mean about that and we can tap into your business superpower. Any questions, make sure you let me know. But until then, I will see you guys later. Thanks very much. Bye.